around the wall were all the photos of my whānau. It had the names with all of the photos to go with it. Theory is good. The reality was that I couldn't read then anyway. So even just to look at the photos and look at the words, well, I couldn't recognise the words. I didn't know what letters were. What I tended to do at the end of it all was my memory, no sooner had I'd remember what it was, whoever it was that had walked in, then I would forget their name straight away. So my short-term memory meant that I couldn't remember who they were anyway. So eventually I was just calling people cousin, auntie, uncle. I'd just have a guess. With my girls, I began to recognise them, and so I would call them bub, rather than calling a name and knowing or having a guess at whether it's the right name or not. That's if I could remember the names anyway. It just blows your whole world. We had to sell the house. Me and my husband and kids had to move in here to help because Mum was working, so that meant we were crammed in here. My two boys were here. They had 4 adults booming at them all the time to be quiet or, you know, don't do this, don't do that. So that was hard. That turned all their lives upside down. And my husband switched his job, moved from day shift to night shift so that he'd be here in the day, so that someone was here. Coming back so quickly from the hospital, it was really important for me to get some kind of normal thing in my life because I was really scared. At the hospital, I didn't really know what had happened, but I knew that something badly had happened because everybody was poking me, prodding me, and I was going to be once I got back to the home. Everybody told me that I would be doing this every week, this month, these 2 months. You know, everything was so predetermined. And so it suddenly dawned on me, ooh, something badly must have hit me. So to have something kind of normal with all of that, that was a great relief for me.
Ko etahi o ngā mahi hei awhina I te tangata I pāngia nei te ikara roro. Ka tae te whakaako anō hea nā mahi, pēnei te hikoi, pēnei te kōrero, pēnei te horomi, te kai. Ko e rā mahi katoa, ka tae te ako anō. Nō reira ko aua mahi, te awhina I te tangata ki te mahi e rā mahi. With this illness to absolutely flatten me, to suddenly wake up with no English, no reo, but then to suddenly find that I actually have a lot of the supports are right around me in Ohinemutu. So in the hospital I had a lot of the supports for English. But at home, luckily or thankfully or destined, I've had the Maori side for me. So with this little marae, part of the memory, the stories, the whakapapa about my mother's whānau, my whānau, and then to have that mixed in with the whakaue wānanga that is up at Tamate Kapua, it was so beautiful. So I'm starting to get 2 sides of the picture and 2 sides of learning happening at the same time.
Mō Rukingi me rātou ngā tūroro, he mea toi maha te whai ngā tohu ngāwari, pērā I te kai rongoā I te wā e tika ana me te nui o ngā rongoā ka kāinga e ia.
When I came out of the hospital after the stroke, I had to go in for blood testing every week, then every fortnight, and now every month.
Right.
What are the tests for?
It's just testing his warfarin level, like his tablets that he takes. And just seeing if it's at the right level for him and if it's not too high or low.
Warfarin is a blood thinner, so that it means that the blood flow is a lot easier and the heart doesn't have to push as much. One of the consequences of it is that the blood is so thin now, any kind of cut, you do get a bit messy. So you just got to be careful.
Nā te whāinga o ngā whakamātautau a Rukingi, mōhio mai ai meheme e tika ana te nui o ana rongoa.
All right,
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you. And I didn't really know what I was showing. So when I was talking, like I could be talking to you and my brain, I'm talking to you and my brain is thinking what I'm saying to you. But what you're actually hearing was totally different.
Ka pā mai te ai whaizia I te matenga o etahi wāhanga o te roro e whakahaere ana I te reo o te tangata. He mea whakatoi maha I te pānui, te tuhi me te kōrero a te tangata. Ka tino puta ki muri te pātanga mai o te ikura roro me te mea anō e mea kaha nei kua kaha te mate.
Ko etahi o nā tino raru ka patu nei te tangata ko pānei tēnei ikura roro ki aia. Ka kino hoki tēnei mate I nā kare tae koe te mahi I tō ringa, te hanga nei nā kupu I nā pirangi koe ki te kōrero kare e taia. He uaua hoki tēnei tumumu mate, ka pukuriri e tahi wā, ka tino hoha e tahi wā. Engari, kia mahi tonu, awhina tonu, nā waira ka pai haere.
Ia Rukingi I te hohi pera, kāre ngā tāngata I mārama ki ana kōrero.
Talking in some kind of gibberish, and I'm smiling as though, and everybody was smiling back at me, so I thought everybody was totally understanding, but I think they were just, they were just saying, yes, Dad, no, Dad, yes, Dad. So they were just totally agreeing with me, and I didn't realise that, that I'd been talking such amazing other language. Before the stroke, I was the teacher. Now, I'm suddenly the learner. Yes, well, it has been a bit of a test, just trying to figure out to push the right button. Yeah. Your brain is a huge, complex machine that works. And I think with the stroke, with me, you only need to be off balance a wee bit and a lot of things start going sideways. Well, since the stroke, a lot of the emphasis was on the brain. So now that I'm starting to come right, then I start looking at the rest of my life and I'm thinking, okay, well, I really do need to do from that tapatoru, tinana, hinengaro and the wairua. The main thing is to be active and motivate. You know, number one is you've actually got to want to do it. So even if you don't do a hell of a lot, the main thing is that you're doing something as opposed to just sitting at home watching TV.
Kei te tika, kia kaha koe ki te whai e rā haumanu nei, te korikori tinana, ko ia tērā kei te awhina ia koe ki te kōrero. Kia kaha koe ki e rā mahi, mahi anā mahi.
I've gradually been able to modify the exercise so that I don't put any, too much pressure on it, because I actually went from one extreme to the other. Nothing in the gym to suddenly going back to the gym, and then all that did was make me absolutely so tired I couldn't do anything. Where I am now, if I do anything in the morning, by the afternoon, I'm going to be slowing down. My words will get slurry. Thinking, so if you ask me questions, I'm going to have to think a little bit longer, and even then, what my brain is thinking and what actually comes out of my mouth, it'll be slightly, off.
Ko te hā o te aroa tēnei, te pūmanoa waru te kaumā. Iwa, we have Rukingi Richards in the studio with us today. Good morning, Rukingi.
Morena.
Kei te pēhea.
Kei te mā nuka nuka.
E wā, tell us about your support group that you hold at Te Roro o Te Rai.